This is video response to Dan Brown's sex, which is a very interesting topic to talk about for your, what is it, like second discussion. Anyhow, America. I think it's one of those things where it's like, how did this happen? We all come from different cultures in America, but none of them are as, I guess, quiet about it, you know? I was thinking, like, I mean, it seems like you turn a certain age, depending on where you grew up or what your family life is, but it's usually like, 12 to 14 if you're really deprived. And it's like, oh my gosh, the big secret revealed. And then you try to figure it out, and it's really awkward until you're like in college, kind of. For some people, not. But then you're in college and you like go crazy, and then you either turn from your wild ways, or it catches you somehow and you have a problem, or you just continue being crazy with what little information you do have. And when you study other culture, it's not like that. I was just thinking about the Jewish culture, say around, when I'm talking about Jewish, I'm talking like traditional, like Jesus time culture. It was just so normal. They raised their kids with the awareness as opposed to the awkward, kind of subconscious, selfish. It was very weird talk that, Americans come up with, where your parents are sitting you down and they're turning red and freaking out, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is really weird, because all of a sudden your parents have to give you information when they've never ever taught you anything like that before. We don't have a culture where our parents teach us anymore, where, we don't have trades as often, or, girls don't grow up basically learning how to run a house, so there's no one-on-one teaching time until this moment when it's really awkward and your parents are embarrassed and, doing that, and you're like, oh my gosh. But in Jewish culture, it was part of life. It was part of their marriage ceremony. Was actually right after the actual ceremony, before their partying, they would go do it. And like, what are you gonna tell the kids? Oh, yeah, they're just, it wouldn't work that way. But in our culture, it's completely different. And I think, instead of keeping it such a secret thing, I think if America changed more towards a proactive education appropriately for a child's age. They don't need all that information when they're 5, but if you appropriately kept education, sex education, a part of daily life, I think we would have more abstinence. I'm not saying that abstinence is your only option, or that we should force it, or try to use that ignorant mindset to scare people into, abstinent lifestyle. I think instead that with the knowledge there comes less of the forbidden fruit, less of the experimentation, because that's when you really would get in trouble. But instead, if you have something that's great, but it's also valuable and something worth, using wisely, maybe there'd be less, I guess, rashness with that. I think when you give teenagers, puberty, aged children, a responsibility of their own in their bodies, I think it would give them, more of an option to not, because then there's nothing to rebel against. So that's my video response. This is TheEverBored, and if anyone has any idea how to get my hands on some remotely cheap editing software, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.